Good morning, church. I wanted to take a little time today to give some context to what has been happening at Caribou Bethel lately in terms of children's worship.
I've had the opportunity to meet with all of the Sunday school classes, and will continue to do so to discuss worship in a corporate setting. We discussed that worship is a response to God and can be a part of everything that we do in our daily lives. In terms of how worship is shown during the musical part of a Sunday morning service, the children and I generated a list of 10 ways to worship. This list is certainly not exhaustive, but encompasses a range of ways to worship in a corporate setting.
They include standing still in the presence of God, singing, clapping, raising hands, signing, bowing down, praying, shouts of praise, using flags or streamers, and dancing.
As you have probably seen over the last few months, number 9 is their favorite. For each of these, we discussed how they are worship and what is their function in worship.
The reason that they're not left up front for the whole worship set is that our focus on a Sunday morning is on corporate worship, not individual worship. I know that there are some of you that find the flags and streamers at the front to be distracting, and thank you for being gracious with the children as they explore this form of worship. Our purpose is to encourage worship across the body as a whole, not to distract from worship. In addition, some songs don't lend themselves well to flags and streamers, and letting them stay out there would be a big distraction during those songs. So all of the children know that if they'd like to continue flagging or using a streamer, that they should go back to the foyer after they've been up front for a song. The most important reason from my perspective why I want them to go to the foyer is that it gives me the opportunity to continue teaching them about worship and to worship with them. One of the big concepts that I'm trying to convey to them is that God speaks. I encourage the children to stop and ask God how He would like them to worship, and then believe that He will answer them. Before the end of worship, I try to send everyone back to their families. I want them to worship with you. The point of corporate worship is that we're in community and can worship together, learn from and be inspired by each other. I want you, the adults, to model worship to the children around you, and even to the ones who may be watching you from afar. You might not be flagging or using a streamer, but you are showing other ways to worship. What you do on a Sunday morning, be it standing still in the presence of God, raising your hands, singing, bowing down, praying, all reinforces to the children the breadth of expression of worship available to us, and it is all pleasing to God. Hopefully, they will also model worship to you and inspire you to be bold in your worship.
If a child you're responsible for comes up to the front, please keep an eye on them. If your child is a preschooler, please come up to the front with them. I'm here to help, but I can't be in all places. Specifically, please watch to make sure that your child is using a flag or streamer that is appropriately sized for them and is using it appropriately. There are sparkly handled streamers for the preschoolers, pink handled streamers for the elementary age children, and the bigger kids can ask me to use one of the big streamers. Don't feel like you can't intervene if something is going sideways. If it's your child, it's better that that correction comes from you instead of from me. Please talk to your child about worship, both the practical side of how we do corporate worship here, but also the theological side of worship. These are conversations that are so beneficial to fostering lifelong worship. I can certainly attest to how early experiences in worship, and some of you will remember me as the awkward 11-year-old dancing up front, laid a foundation for worship as a primary component of my life. What is happening here on Sunday mornings may sometimes be chaotic, but it is building something in the lives of the children that will stay with them into adulthood. Engage in unabashed worship. Like King David, we are called to lay down our pride and worship with abandon. Unlike David, we will keep all our clothes on. But who knows? But that your act of worship, raising your hands, giving a shout of praise, or boldly walking to the front and grabbing a flag or streamer may be the thing that leads someone else into worship. And even if it isn't, it is still so pleasing to God. Thank you for giving me the time to share today. If you have any questions about flagging, using streamers, expressions of worship, or hearing God speak, please come and talk to me. I have lots of faith-building stories to share, and I love to be part of the worship conversation at Caribou Bethel.